I used to go through Arlington, but I didn't hang out on Arlington. Then we go through there, holler at them. But as far as me hanging out on Arlington, no, I didn't hang out on Arlington.
And was anybody on Arlington, were any of them bishops?
No, I don't believe so. No.
So they were their own thing, separate from you guys?
Well, at that point in time, they was, at that point in time, you gotta keep in mind, we was just 15 years old at that point in time, myself, 14, 15 years old. So the guys on Arlington who were younger than me, some of them didn't live over there at that time either, or younger than me, they seen us coming, and then by the time sisters got put together, then they got on board.
So Bishops wasn't actively recruiting in the 60s. That was just your little group. You guys were trying to lock it down.
Yeah, we was recruiting, but it was such a short period of time that we existed. It was such a short time before we became 60s, because like I said, the neighborhood was in turmoil, and we got tired of these guys on the east side trying to dictate to us what we should be doing, dealing with our buddies, of the other gang. They want to tell us you need to just go and smash them dudes. I'm like, well, I look like smashing my mama's best friend's son.
Well, what influence did Tookie have?
Well, Tookie was Tookie was the figurehead for all the Crips. Big Took. He was the figurehead for all the Crips. He influenced people. We see him coming. He influenced people, but other than being, for me, and I personally knew Took, he was just like the leader of we seen him like people see him like the leader of the West Side Crips. Not a Crip, who just like a West Side Crips.
So who had more influence in the 60s as far as Crippin? Tookie or Barefoot Pookie? Who did you guys look at as that Crip?
Well,
up close and personal with you?
Well,
Or if it wasn't Tookie and it wasn't Pookie, who was it? Who was the main dude that was instrumental in planting Crip in the 60s when you were there? Because Bishops weren't Crips.
No, they weren't.
So who pushed you guys in that direction?
Yeah, Charlie and Perry, these guys, Cappuccino, down there, these guys were always Crips. And his older brother Charlie, these guys were always Crips. So it may have been, I would say they probably would have influenced. To be honest about it, they probably would influence. But other than that, the thing about us, we had in our mind, we was gonna do our own thing and be big. That's what our head. We're gonna do our own and be big. We're not fall up on the brothers and guys from the east side no more. We're not gonna let nobody tell us what to do. I'm not carrying took his coat. A lot of people just honor for him, carrying took his coat.
What about Odie's older brother, Odell?
Yeah.
Was he instrumental in Crippin in the 60s?
Yeah, all three of them. Odell and Oliver was still around. He was instrumental. I still see him for a period of time. But to say that one person, I would say them maybe those collectively, but try to say that no, he was. I can't do that.
Did you know Raymond Washington?
No, I didn't know him personally.
So he wasn't coming around when you was...
He was around, but I didn't know him personally. You see him, but I didn't know him personally.
Your main crew of Bishops, outside of Lucky and all the East Side guys, who was your main partners as Bishops? Who were your road dogs as a Bishop?
Big Duck, Steve, Little Duck, we just talked coming up. Because they were brothers.
Where did Babyface and Motor Mouth fall in that?
Oh, right there.
They were Bishops too?
Right there. Yeah. It was just for a minute, because like I said, it didn't a lot of people won't admit to it. In fact, a lot of people just won't admit to it, but it was for a minute to be functioning as bishops, and then we got on, started doing our own thing. And everybody came on late as bishops and may have bypassed, having to actually admit they were bishops. But a lot of them, they were up under the brother and bishop for the little time that we existed. And like I say, it was a short period of time. I would say 6, 7 months most, because we were out to make a name for ourselves. We did it all under the umbrella of Rollin 60s.
So you said Herman Moncrief, he didn't fall underneath the Bishops.
I can't say. I'd be wrong to say.
But his older brother did.
His older brother did. Kenneth. Crenshaw High was a basketball school. From the time it opened up until maybe about 25 years, it was always going to the Final Four or the championship. They have great football players also. Wendell Tyler, Donald McCall, Gates. They had a number of them, you know. We had Daryl Strawberry. So all some great athletes coming out of Crenshaw. But basketball was a good big thing. Like Big Duck, a co-defendant. He played for Crenshaw. To this very day, we think the fact that we got arrested killed this opportunity of making the NBA, because he was like a Dennis Rodman in the basketball court. His name was defense. After he got out of prison, Coach West picked him up personally and brought him in, and he coached for 25 years with Coach West, running the defense. Now, if you know about Crenshaw, that's what, you know, if you know about basketball defense wins championships. So you got to be able to stop your opponents. And he, for 25 years, he coached with them. And during that period of time, they won a world championship, not just a city or state, they won a world championship where they traveled the world. And this man, convicted of murder, that's how he was made. In order for him to travel with him, he was made an ambassador so he could travel with the team. You know.
He didn't plead down his case. He got a murder conviction.
He pled down to second degree, yes. He pled down to second degree, yes. You know, but back then, second degree was a 5 to life, 3 to 7 years. You know, the law has changed drastically since then. But anyway, he got out. He changed his life right now. He's not a minister on paper, but when it comes to the Word of God, he knows the Word of God back and forth. He's a teacher of the Word also. He's a great teacher of the Word, you know. But also he's a person, he's helping them young men in school, you know. Right now he's assistant coach right out the trade tech with the defense, you know.
And that conviction doesn't come back and bite.
Yes, it does come back. It always comes back up. When Willie West retired, Maurice Duckett, oh my God, he was Willie West's choice to take over the basketball team. But because of his criminal convictions, politics came into play. You see who got the team. Maxine Waters' son ended up getting the team. And, you know, the politics got involved in it. Maurice didn't get Willie West's wish was not fulfilled.
A 40-year-old conviction still comes back and bites you.
Yes, yes.
What was your original sentence?
I was really sentenced for first degree murder, to life with the possibility of parole. And what that is, under the law, I was sentenced under indeterminate sentencing law. And basically, when you hear people talk about it, it's a 7 to life sentence. So the minimum we had to serve was 7 years before we were even eligible for parole. Yeah. And I went to the parole board told 17 times. But you know, I knew my first, you know, I was active. They caught a new case, new murder, they accused me, they got a new murder, you know, took a deal to get from under that. Well, I was active all the time, but I still went to parole board, you know, just knowing that they're not gonna let me out, I'm trying to make their life miserable, you know. You know, it was a game I played for many years. Then when I finally started getting serious, you know, so I could have been out earlier, but I was so deeply caught up. I was so gone, you know, and I'm trying to deal with that now with my daughter. I was so messed up in the head that I couldn't love nobody. I didn't even love myself. I looked at the stuff I was doing, didn't even love the stuff I was doing. I look back sometimes and say, man, how? You know, I remember I was attacking one dude, they started shooting, they didn't hit me at all, but they hit him.
Run that play back about you being stabbed.
Okay, I wouldn't get up under the BGF umbrella, right? And there was something they wanted done, and they needed my corporation to do it because I was on the tier. And I wasn't with it. So I was serving the food one night, and this coward, he called my name. Had he not called my name, he could have killed me. He called my name and tried, this before they put the screens up on the doors. And he speared me. And I just started looking at Lock and I caught it on my arm, right? And I grabbed the knife. Now I got the knife, but he's inside that, he's standing in the back of the cell. back to self woofing, you know. I'm like, wow, dude, just that. And we go to the yard together. You could have got out in the yard, you know. You could have got out in the yard, you know. So I took the knife, hid the knife, and wrapped my arm up. And so by the time I go back down the chest, I'm serving the food again. The police, what's happening, man? What's the problem? Why are you taking so long? My aunt had to take somebody use the bathroom, and he see the blood on the food cart. What's happening? And for some reason, the police knew about what was going on. You know, they knew that I was having a conflict, you know, and when they seen the blood in the food cart, and stripped down, he said, what happened? I slipped and cut myself on the food cart. He said, no, you didn't. Because the cut was a clean cut. You can see it wasn't no slip, you know. And he said, no, you didn't. So they just took me and locked me up.
You know, were all these incidents coming up in the parole hearings?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was all documented on paper. You know, why are you getting stabbed? You know, why? You know, I'm like, why am I getting stabbed? I told you I didn't get stabbed. I cut myself on the food cart. You know, coming out of prison and finding someone to work with me has been hard. But I finally have hooked up with an organization, people that are into helping people, who helping people who want to change their lives. You know, so. And I also find that a lot of the original members, my best friend, or my pastor who was one of the original Rollin 60s Crips, are now into helping people. And it's amazing to see the transition that myself and a lot of the originals have made. We're working right now. We're working right now to establish a foundation on helping people change their lives. And this is what we want to do. This is what I want to do, and a lot of us. So we have been coming together, just working on ideals, on how to help people change their mind. One of the main things we find out in getting people to stop game banging, when we ask them to get out the game life, we have to give them something else to do.
Any particular guys from Inglewood family that used to stand out?
Oh, wow. When Jan was the big dirty red. Jan, oh, I'm trying to take this guy. It was a Slim. Yeah, it was Slim. That crew, I can't think of the name now because it's been so long.
Did you cross Jan Brewer in prison?
I can't say I have. I know I have a dirty red, and we were very close friends. You know, dirty red.
Let me ask you this. Before you went to the pen in 1975, who do you remember living west of Crenshaw and Hills?
Motor Mouse, Cat, Face.
Babyface.
Yeah, Babyface. That was about it.
What about Stag and Pinky? Were they around?
Oh my God, yes. Pinky. Dennis, yeah. Yes.
About Stacy and Squally D.
Which squad are you talking about?
Squally D, 58th. Yeah,
Okay, Squally Davis.
Yes.
Yeah, see, the Squally Davis was still on Madden, So on Madden on 7th Avenue. And then the other squad that sent us to the penitentiary. It was Carl Fritz, called Squally, you know.
What about Stacy Bullock?
Stacy Bullock, yes. Man, it's so long ago, so many names. When you say names, just pop up pictures and come up, you know. I haven't seen since then.
Bishops were basically from Hoss all the way to 8th Avenue then, right? You guys basically had that whole Florence corridor right there? That was your guys' hangout?
Well, it's hard to say the whole quarter like that because it was intermittent. You're like, we was all buddies, and some of us lived over here. Some of, all within that western, the Crenshaw, Slauson, Florence area, you know? And that's what made it so hard for us to keep on wanting not to come together as one. We all knew each other, you know? You might be staying on Wilton, and might be a bishop, and I might be staying on 8th Avenue as a bishop. In between, you got a lot of Crips, and they go to 4th Avenue, which is in between both of them, you got the leaders, you know?
Yeah, Mac mentioned that you said leaders. Who are these leaders?
Well, there was...
and where were they?
Well, basically, it was sitting like on Florence, in like 70th, remember the White Mountain? The restaurant on 40th, 70th? It's a car lot right now.
Did they end up turning 60s or they just withered away?
Well, turning 60s, but just West Side Crips. Everybody when they became 60s, when they became popular, I know guys that were lowriders when I left, 5, 6 years older than me. When I see them in San Quentin out there, they claim the 60s. I'm like, they claim the rich Rollin 60s then, you know. I'm like, okay, you know, yeah, okay. Just don't steal my glory, you know. It's a sad glory, but I just tell them, no, something I used to say. I'm kind of ashamed of it now. I am ashamed of it now because of all the destruction that's taking place, you know.
Did you have any buddies from A-Train when you were on the streets?
Oh, yes. Yeah. One was Fraud. I mean, you know.
Did you know Rayford?
Yeah, just passed recently, yes, indeed. But I do all those people. We're going close. I do of him in the streets. He come to the prison, you know.
When you go into those Sentinel Park and Sportman Park and St. Andrew Park meetings and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Sentinel almost every Sunday, you know, we got together at Sentinel, St. Andrews Park, you know, sportsmen. But mostly, it was basically, I heard somebody mention something about the Dare Park. I don't remember that one. Not to say that it didn't happen, but I just don't remember it, you know.
Were you surprised to hear that Sentinel Park fell into the hands of the Inglewood family?
When I come home, I'm surprised about a lot of things. You know, life has changed so drastically. Now, it's amazing. Crips wear red, Bloods are wearing blue now. You know, they just, you know, which can be a good thing, maybe, but it's just, life has changed so drastically since I returned, you know. And the homeless problem, I see homeless, you know, one time when I lived, they downtown Skid Row. Now they're right out here on the park, on the bus. But, you know, life is, things have changed drastically. It's getting worse.
Are you allowed to go anywhere? Have you been anywhere outside of LA City since you've been home?
Oh, well, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. My parole, I'm not allowed. Like, I've been out to what was it, Oak Hills, to get permission to go out. You know, I got to get permission to travel outside of LA County.
So you can't go to Vegas,
No.
San Diego, San Francisco?
No, not without permission. Not without permission.
So where do you want to go? What do you want to see out there in the real world?
I just, you know, I would just love to travel, man. I just want to see things that just, so maybe you do it's just common, you know. I like to go to the Grand Canyon, you know. I like to go see, I need to go to the Bray Tar Pits and see the bones, you know. I mean, look, just things like that people just take for granted, you know. I like to do. Life is right now is so full and so fascinating. But there's one thing on my mind, there's one thing I really, really love to do. Without calling her name, there's a young lady, I like to get to know her, just meet her, get to know her, you know, stop all the texting. You know, we're texting right now, you know, Marco Polo, but I like to meet her one day. So if she sees this, she'll know who I'm talking to about putting her out there. She'll know who I'm talking about. You know,
Who stayed down with you for those 40 years?
you know what, my family.